There was an internship opportunity at Winterthur Museum. They had just received a dollhouse and they needed some students to do some treatments on it. Nancy B. McDaniel lived with her husband in California and then moved to Connecticut, around which time they decided to take a trip to Britain where they saw Queen Mary's dollhouse. She spent years searching for the proper dollhouse maker, found one a few hours outside of London, and had to really fight to get the 18 rooms that she wanted. So she could have a doll mansion instead of a doll house, but he refused to get it electrified, so she shipped it back to the US where it was electrified, and then she wallpapered it and added the floors. It's really her vision from the beginning.
While the whole house feels like Nancy and belongs to Nancy, the rugs are actually handmade by her, so she was an avid needle pointer. We actually know that the rug that's in the game room right now, she finished 2 weeks before she passed. So she was working on this house right up until the end, probably because it brought her so much joy. So we wanted to make sure that they stayed safe, so we made sure that they went through a freezing chamber, just to make sure that there were no threats of pests being stuck in the rugs. We've decided that we're using very, very, very thin earth magnets that we have sewn to the bottom of 2 front corners of each rug, and then have waxed its counterpart to the floor, so that way the rug won't be in danger of slipping when the house is being moved around.
But we're getting very emotionally attached to the house, and the treatments have been really informative for us. We've learned so much from treating the floors, treating the items. We've been doing a lot of sewing and attaching items to other items, and we found the sewing table, the miniature sewing table, in the nanny's bedroom. And I remember when we first pulled it out of the box, it was when we were still learning that there are items within items, miniatures within miniatures, and we opened the top drawer and there were 14 tiny spools of thread, and we just rejoice every time we get the opportunity to show it to someone and get to see their face like, oh my gosh.
You need to have the tactile experience. It's not something you can learn in books. The field is actually only about 60 years old, so there really aren't textbooks for it. You learn by doing. This project was fantastic for us because it incorporates so many different kinds of materials, and we were able to research, learn, ask questions. All of the pieces in the house are original, and we're doing our best to put everything back exactly how it was. One of the new additions is actually a portrait of Nancy, a miniature portrait of Nancy that was made by a family friend. It was made for her previously when she was still living, but she thought it was kind of weird to have a portrait of herself in the house. But her husband insisted that now that it's going to be here, that she hangs in the dining room. So that's a particularly favorite piece of mine, even though it's not something that she acquired. So he actually came to visit. He came along with 3 friends, and it was a bit of an emotional moment. When he was here, his eyes were watery the whole time. It was very sweet. You can tell how much he cared. And it felt good for us to know that he felt that the house was in good hands. It was like the confirmation we needed.